Hello everyone, welcome back to Small Talk. Let's talk about if it's the right time to invest in crypto and digital assets and other tangible assets. Recently, we have been noticing that lots of people have lost faith in fiat currency and everybody has been betting against US dollar. People think and investors think the US dollar is going to be devalued, and therefore we have seen a trend change into people buying more of digital assets, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or all the other cryptocurrency for that matter, and also into tangible assets like gold, silver, real estate, etc. Why people think that US dollar is going to be devalued and is going to cause troubles? If you look at the history, well, I can explain. If you have been watching this channel regularly, you know I have made a detailed video on fiat currency, on Federal Reserve, and how the economy works. You can go back and check my series on banking, currency, and finance, and you can watch all those videos in detail. But I'm going to give you a brief explanation why people think that a dollar is going to be is in the process of devaluing, and therefore most of the investors have been investing into the assets. I'm also going to say whether this is the perfect time or right time to invest into cryptocurrency or not. We will discuss all this in this video. Why do people think that the money or dollar is in the process of decaying or devaluing? We know the Federal Reserve and the government has been talking about quantitative easing, means lowering the rate, printing more money. And if you look at the 60 years history, and if you look at the M2 chart, you can search up M2 chart and it will show you how the dollar has been accelerating in devaluing. Means if you had dollar in 19 if you had a dollar 100 years ago, it's worth only 4 cents now. So 96 or 97% of its value has already been gone. Whereas if you look at the gold, 4 ounce of gold 20 years ago was $360 odd. It's $4,000 now. Does this mean that the gold has gone up in price? No, it means that the US dollar has gone down in value, that it takes $4,000 now to buy the same amount of gold, which will cost only $365 or $360 per ounce, which means the value of the dollar has gone down by $3,664 in the past 20 years. Does that make sense? Okay. So, and also, we also know that the government will never stop printing money. The Federal Reserve will never stop printing money, and the government will never stop borrowing money from the Federal Reserve. And why do I say this? Is because if you look at the GDP, we have $38 trillion in debts. You can Google this and say, would government be ever able to pay $36 trillion or $38 trillion in debt that it has, given that they're adding $2 trillion per year into the economy in debts? And you will get the answer on Google. ChatGPT and AI will give you this answer, and they will tell you the US will never be able to pay $38 trillion in debts. Rather, this debt will increase over the time. And we all know that every year government is adding $2 trillion into debt, and therefore the debt is increasing by the day. So as a result, government wants to borrow more money. Federal Reserve turns on the money printer. They print more money, lend it to the government. Cost of goods and services go higher because dollar loses its value because there's excessive amount of money floating in the economy. Now they run out of cash again. Next year they ask for more money. Federal Reserve turns on the money printer. $2 trillion gets added to the debts, and this vicious cycle continues. And now the question arises whether this is a good time to buy cryptocurrency or not, and whether we have already missed the boat. I've noticed, and you have also probably noticed, that recently Bitcoin has reached all-time high. Ethereum has gone up in prices. So many other cryptocurrencies and coins, etc., have been going up in prices. Gold and silver prices have gone up significantly. Particularly gold has, as I said, $4,000 per ounce, little over $4,000 per ounce. It has hit all-time high. So the question arises, is it too late for us to buy to these assets, valuable assets, or can we still buy them? And the answer to that question is, if you think the Federal Reserve will stop printing the money at some point, then maybe it's too late for you to buy into these assets. But if you see a pattern, the government is going to keep borrowing money and Federal Reserve is going to keep printing money, then no, it's not a wrong. There's no late to buy into these assets, because this vicious cycle is going to continue, and these assets and these valuable assets are going to keep going up in prices, and dollar is going to keep going down in prices. If you look at crypto or fiat currency, you realize that fiat currency actually has zero value. It has no intrinsic value. What does that mean? That means dollar is not backed by anything. It's just a piece of paper. The government has decreed upon us that, okay, this is the currency that we're going to use as medium of exchange. Tomorrow, government can announce we're not going to use dollar as medium of exchange, and therefore it could be worth zero because it's not backed by anything. So in order for us to think that it's too late for us to get into cryptocurrency, get into digital assets, or into tangible assets, is when government Federal Reserve stops printing money and government stops borrowing. If that happens, the economy will collapse. People will obviously dismiss the politicians. They will lose their jobs. Federal Reserve will be gone. Central bank will be gone. They will all lose their job. And of course, these politicians, the Federal Reserve, the central bank officials, they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to not fill their pockets. So they will continue borrowing money and printing money. Hence, the result is the value of these digital assets and tangible assets will keep going higher and higher, because dollar will keep losing its value every time they print more money. And every year, central bank and Federal Reserve just dumps trillions of dollars in new currency that they print. They don't print anymore. They just add few zeros into their general ledger. They just add few more digits, and it says, okay, this much more money is in the economy now. And that's how it's done. Like, there's no value to this dollar that's being printed every year. So no, it's not too late for us to buy into these digital assets and into these tangible assets. So what should we buy? You all know that I'm a very big lover of Bitcoin. I do endorse Bitcoin, highly recommend it, because Bitcoin has all the values of solid money. And the other cryptocurrencies, I don't endorse it as much. However, having said that, in my opinion, this short period of time, like next 6 months to a year, I think is the uptrend for all the cryptos. And the reason being is, everybody understands the dollar is losing its value, and this is going to be the future of money. And people think it's going to be every cryptocurrency, which it could be possibly, but Bitcoin definitely is going to be the future of money. That's just my personal humble opinion. I could be wrong. So people are going to, so this euphoria has kicked in, and people are buying into these cryptocurrencies right now. So it would be a wise idea, not a personal financial advice, that we can just jump into this boat now and ride that wave that's going higher. Is it going to collapse? Absolutely. If you look at the history of Bitcoin, the volatility is pretty high. Of course, it has gone down over the years and it has gotten more and more expensive, but the volatility is still there. In my opinion, I will not be buying Bitcoin at $126,000. It has gone way high. I don't even have that much money to buy even one single Bitcoin. The other cryptocurrencies and some of the stable coins, I think is going to be a wise idea to buy right now. And just for a short term, like for Ethereum, Shiba, Dogecoin, some of these currencies, you can buy them and hold them just for small, medium to short to medium term, 6 months to a year, while the euphoria is there, while people are enthusiastic about cryptocurrency, while people and government is like promoting it left and right. I think this is going to keep going higher and higher. If you have the money to buy Bitcoin, you can do that as well. Like, for example, recently it had gone down to $108,000. That would have been like 25% rise or 20% rise right there within 2 weeks period of time. So when there's a pullback like those, you can definitely buy into Bitcoin as well. If you have the money, it's a pretty expensive asset. You can still do this, because the value of the dollar is going to keep going down. The inflation is going to keep going higher. And as a result, all these digital assets, intangible assets, gold, silver, cryptocurrency, real estate are going to keep going higher, particularly with the interest rates being cut now. Of course, market is expecting 95% of the market is expecting another rate cut in October. Only 5% people think that there will be no rate cut, but in my opinion, there will be a rate cut. I don't know what the percentage is going to be. So with these interest rates being lower, the real estate is going to jump higher. Cryptocurrency is going higher already because it has been highly promoted, and the euphoria is there. The retailers are buying in, the institutions are buying in now. They're more comfortable buying in because government is endorsing them. However, I'll be very mindful and very careful because there could be very sharp pullbacks on these assets as well. When I say these assets, I mean cryptocurrency, digital assets, not necessarily the real estate, because real estate is a tangible assets. You still have the property, it's giving you the income, it's still there. It could go down in price maybe for a short period of time if you absolutely have to sell, but if it's generating income for you, you probably don't want to sell it anyway. So what am I doing? I am thinking about, as if you have watched my videos previously, you know that I've had some equities that I've been holding for 2 years. Obviously, those were not the smart choices that I had made, and I am averaging down all those, and I'm trying to get rid of all those old stocks that I've been holding once I make some money, or even if they turn green. I'm not trying to even make any profit right now. I just want to break even at least before I sell them. I'm trying to minimize my losses. And I'm saving all that money on the side because my plan is to get into cryptocurrency. I know I have never endorsed other cryptocurrencies except for Bitcoin, but right now I think the momentum is there, the euphoria is there, the promotion is there, and investors are buying in, the enthusiasm is there. So there's nothing wrong with just riding this wave and make profit off of it, as long as you don't be too greedy and don't hold it for too long, because tomorrow they could pass a law which could just crash all the cryptocurrencies. Then, you know, it wouldn't be surprising to me. But at least in the short term, I think for the next 6 months to a year, they most probably are going to keep endorsing all the cryptos. And I think, therefore, I'm just putting this money on the side after December 31st, once I have sold all my dead stocks and I have minimized my losses by averaging down some of the stocks. I'm going to start fresh into 2026, and at that point I will start some positions into the cryptocurrencies. Right now I don't have that much money, that's why I'm not doing it, but if I had the money I would have done it right now. But I am using that money to buy into those equities to minimize my losses. That's my game plan for now. Having said that, I'm not making giving personalized financial advice to any of you guys, because everybody has different situation, different, way of life, and everybody has their own strategy. So follow your strategy. But a friendly advice would be that I think it's a time that you should consider buying cryptos and some of the assets like gold and silver, because this wave, next 6 months to a year, could actually make you some money. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below and let me know, what do you think? What do you think fiat currency is going to do? Where do you think the dollar is going to go? Where do you think gold and silver price is going to go? And if you think Bitcoin is going to hit $185,000 to $200,000 by the end of the year. I know I've been saying my goal was $260,000 by the end of this year, but I think that is a little too aggressive. At this point, I would say if it hits $164,000, I think that's going to be a win-win situation. I'm not saying over 200 is not possible. It's absolutely possible with the amount of euphoria that we're getting and the interest that we're getting. But I think still that's a little too aggressive of a goal. By 2030, could it go to 500,000-600,000? Absolutely, it could go to even million and beyond. But that's a long-term goal. So for this year, at least, I think it definitely has a room to go up another $40,000 to $50,000. So having said that, please make your choices wisely. Don't gamble. Be very careful with your money, because once you panic sell or panic buy, it's kind of hard to recover from it. So do your own due diligence before you buy into any of these things, and use your own strategy if you have one. Until next one, please be safe out there and make some money. Take care.